And now to the big headline from Australia, the land down under has an over-the-top problem. I'm talking about migration. It has climbed to record levels in Australia. It is adding pressure to housing, pushing rents to the highest levels, and increasing infrastructure walls. So the country has come up with a plan to cut down immigration by 50%.
Australia new 90-day cap on immigration affecting everyone. Australia visa updates. Hi there, welcome to BeyondBoarder. In today's video, we're diving into the latest and highly significant development in Australia's immigration policies. Teal MP 𝐾𝐨𝐬𝐿 is championing a new bill that seeks to impose a 90-day cap on immigration detention. This bill represents a major shift in how Australia handles asylum seekers and could have far-reaching implications for everyone involved in the immigration process. From the legal frameworks to the humanitarian impact, we'll break down everything you need to know. Stick around to get all the details on how this new legislation might affect you or someone you know. Understanding the 90-day cap, what it means for asylum seekers. The proposed bill introduces a groundbreaking change in Australia's immigration system by capping the detention of asylum seekers at 90 days. This is a significant departure from the current system, where some individuals are detained indefinitely, sometimes for years. This change is a direct response to growing concerns over human rights violations and the immense psychological toll on detainees. The bill allows for a 28-day extension if absolutely necessary, but only as a last resort, ensuring that prolonged detention becomes a thing of the past. In contrast to Australia's current practices, countries like Canada and the United States have much shorter detention periods, averaging 30 and 48 days respectively. By aligning with global standards, Australia aims to improve its international reputation, which has suffered due to its harsh immigration policies. This 90-day cap will also place pressure on the immigration system to expedite processing, leading to quicker resolutions for asylum seekers. Moreover, this policy is not just about reducing detention time, but also about ensuring better treatment for those seeking refuge. By limiting detention periods, Australia is taking a step towards a more humane immigration system where individuals are not left in limbo for extended periods. This shift could bring about significant changes in how asylum seekers are treated, from the point of arrival to their eventual settlement or repatriation. The humanitarian impact: protecting vulnerable populations. One of the key aspects of the bill is its focus on protecting vulnerable populations, particularly children. Under the new legislation, it would be illegal to detain any child in immigration detention centres. This is a critical move, as experts have long criticised these centres as factories for producing mental illness. The psychological impact on children in detention is profound, often leading to long-term trauma. By removing children from these environments, Australia is prioritising their mental and emotional well-being. Furthermore, this bill signifies a shift in Australia's approach to asylum seekers, from one of deterrence to one of compassion and respect for human rights. It sends a message that Australia is committed to upholding its global humanitarian obligations, which could improve its standing in the international community. Legal implications: changes to the Migration Act, 1958, the Migration Amendment, limits on immigration detention. Bill 2024 proposes crucial changes to the Migration Act, 1958. These amendments are designed to ensure that Australia complies with international human rights standards, particularly those related to the treatment of asylum seekers. The bill makes it clear that indefinite detention is no longer acceptable and introduces strict guidelines for how long a person can be held in detention. These legal changes will also introduce new responsibilities for the Administrative Review Tribunal, ART. The ART will be tasked with assessing applications for extending detention beyond the 90-day cap, ensuring that any extensions are justified and truly necessary. This adds a layer of accountability to the process, making it more difficult for authorities to detain individuals without proper cause. Comparing Australia to other nations, a global perspective. Australia has long been criticised for its harsh immigration policies, particularly when compared to other developed nations. The average time spent in Australian immigration detention centres is a staggering 565 days, much higher than in countries like Canada and the United States. This has placed Australia among the worst offenders globally in terms of meeting international human rights obligations. The 90-day cap aims to bring Australia closer in line with these other nations, making the system more efficient and humane. In Canada, for example, the average detention period is just 30 days, and the focus is on finding swift resolutions rather than prolonged detention. Similarly, the United States has an average detention period of 48 days, showing that shorter detention times are both feasible and beneficial. This global perspective highlights the need for reform in Australia's immigration system. By adopting policies similar to those in other countries, Australia can improve its international reputation and ensure that it treats asylum seekers with the dignity they deserve. The role of human rights organisations advocating for change. Human rights organisations have long been at the forefront of the fight against indefinite detention in Australia. Groups like the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, ASRC, have been vocal in their criticism of the current system, describing it as a violation of basic human rights. The new bill is seen as a victory for these organisations, which have been advocating for time limits on detention for years. The ASRC and other advocacy groups have been instrumental in raising awareness about the conditions in detention centres and the impact on detainees. Their efforts have led to increased public pressure on the government to reform the immigration system. The presentation of a 10,000-strong petition to Parliament is just one example of how these organisations are driving change. This bill is a testament to the power of advocacy and the importance of holding governments accountable. Impact on the government. Navigating political challenges. The introduction of this bill presents a significant challenge for the Australian government. While the Labor Party's platform aligns with many of the bill's goals, passing it into law will require navigating complex political dynamics. The government will also need to consider the financial implications of the bill. Offshore detention is expensive, costing millions of dollars annually. Reducing the length of detention and potentially closing offshore facilities could lead to significant savings, which may appeal to fiscally conservative politicians. However, the government will also need to address concerns from those who believe that the bill could weaken Australia's border security. Striking a balance between humanitarian principles and security concerns will be key to gaining the necessary support for the bill. Conclusion. As we wrap up this discussion on Australia's new 90-day cap on immigration detention, it's clear that this proposed bill by MP 𝐃𝐨𝐬𝐵𝐿 could mark a pivotal change in the country's approach to immigration. By introducing a time limit on detention and prioritising the humane treatment of asylum seekers, Australia has the opportunity to align itself with global human rights standards and address the long-standing criticisms of its immigration policies. This bill is not just about legal reforms. It represents a broader shift in how Australia views its responsibilities to vulnerable populations. The potential to end indefinite detention, especially in offshore facilities, could bring relief to hundreds of people and set a new precedent for compassionate immigration practices. As this legislation moves through the political process, it will be crucial to keep an eye on how it develops and what it means for asylum seekers, policymakers, and the nation as a whole. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content on the issues that matter most to you.